Welcome back. Catch and release. Well, it ain't just for fishing. A new government report is pretty alarming and shocking. It's showing 1 in 6 illegal immigrants arrested. And they're arrested again within 3 years of their release. The Immigration Department telling Fox News, quote, many of the individuals cited in the report were not removable under current law or were released by local officials before ICE, that's the Immigration Department, could respond. But House Republicans calling the administration's immigration policy deadly, yes, deadly. Republican Texas Congressman Louie Gohmert agrees. Congressman, what do you mean?
Well, Liz, they have this administration is responsible for releasing people after they've committed crimes when it was known that they were here illegally, and then some of them committing multiple crimes, still being released by this administration, have gone on to commit the crimes of murder. At least that's what some of them have been charged with. So we've had murders, we've had rapes, we've had all kinds of crimes of violence, property crimes of all kinds, and we have a president that just seems to be completely oblivious to the harm that is coming to his country when he's out there giving speeches that, gee, we've never been more protected on our borders. Baloney, they're coming in right and left. People that should not be here. They're not just here for jobs. Some of them are committing crimes. One of the charges, in fact, illegal aliens were robbing a grandmother, and when the grandson tried to chase them, they killed him. That's the allegations.
Yeah.
So it's time for this president to protect the country, and instead of being out there making political speeches. But one thing appears very transparent. When you have the Attorney General of the country suing states who are trying to get rid of anybody that's illegally on their voting rolls, at the same time the president's out there saying we want people illegally here just to be our friends right before an election, it kind of looks transparent.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Congressman, I just want to be clear. So 26,000 were rearrested. The crimes were, as you cited, there were, I think, something like 19 murders, assault, rape, kidnapping. There were 3,000 thefts. There was carjacking. There was child molestation. The issue is that they're being released back into the United States and not being sent, repatriated back home. Is that the problem?
That is exactly the problem, and the president particularly exacerbated those issues when he announced that, gee, if you went to high school here, if you did this or the other, then we'll let you stay even though you're illegally here. We've already heard from some of the union leaders of our ICE agents out there on the front lines who are saying they catch these guys and then they're told, well, gee, I went to high school here, we got to let them go.
Is that the issue? I was going to ask you, why aren't they being, and let's not call it deported because the politically correct crowd, gets very upset. Let's call it repatriated, whatever you want to call it. Why aren't they, when they get caught and they're committing a serious crime, why aren't they put back to where they came from?
Well, that's what should happen, but as this federal government has sued and made clear, only the federal government can take them back to those other the countries they're legally allowed to be in. And so it's been very clear, it's made clear in the Arizona case, you can't repatriate, you can't deport. It has to be the federal government, and the federal government says we're not going to do it.
One issue, though, is President Obama said back in 2010 that he will focus enforcement on serious crimes. And the issue is when you have car theft that leads to grand theft, that leads to the grandparent being shot in the head, did the administration miss it that small crimes can lead to bigger crimes?
Well, and that those small crimes are hurting real Americans, and he ought to be protecting them. That small crimes are obviously the gateway to the bigger things, and this president doesn't seem to care in an election year.
Okay, Congressman Louie Gohmert, so good to be with you tonight, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
It's good to talk to you. And by the way, on follow up to David, I'm wanting to privatize CBO so we get accurate scores on congressional bills as well for another time.
Right, Congressional Budget Office, what you're talking about. Thank you so much for your time, sir. I really appreciate it. Next up.